Today's fairy tale is another wild and twisted ride where you heal someone by boiling their bones, where mice talk, where there's genies, and of course racism. It often sneaks its way in there. It's purportedly from the Middle East or Central Asia, but it was recorded in the Blue Fairy book by Andrew Lang from a French source. It's called The Bronze Ring. There's this king who's despairing because he's got this castle, but it's surrounded by a wasteland, and he wants it to be fruitful and beautiful. He's advised to hire a gardener who comes from a long line of gardeners, and so he does. And the gardener restores everything and makes it this beautiful paradise. But the princess falls in love with the gardener, and the king does not want her to marry him. He wants her to marry this prime minister's son. So to get around all her complaints, he decides to have a contest. The prime minister's son and the gardener have to go on this long journey, and whoever makes it back first gets the princess. Of course, the prime minister's son goes with tons of gold and a beautiful steed. The gardener's son is just given a lame horse and some copper because, they don't want him to win. Well, the princess does, but she's not in charge. On his journey, the prime minister's son comes across this woman in rags begging for help, and he's like, no, and he leaves. But our guy stops and helps her, gives her his money, lets her ride on the back of the horse. Well, it turns out that was a good decision because she's a witch. They travel along and stop to rest in a city where they hear the sultan of that city is sick and dying, and whoever can heal him will get a prize. The witch says, I know how you can cure him. She says, find a dog that is white, a dog that is black, a dog that is red, kill them, burn their ashes separately, and gather them and go to the sultan. Then put a huge cauldron over a roaring fire, put the sultan inside and boil him down to his bones. Then arrange the bones on the floor like in the shape where they're supposed to be, throw the ashes over them, and he'll come back to life. And he will not only be healed, but young and in his prime again. So our dude does all of that and it works. And the sultan's very happy. Like, you can have half my kingdom, you can have my daughter. And he says, no, I just want that bronze ring that you have, which the witches told him to ask for. So he gives him the bronze ring. Turns out there's a genie that lives inside. And it's not like a 3 wishes genie, it's whatever you want whenever. So because he was kind to this old woman, the dude continues on his journey using the ring to have a huge ship, tons of money, beautiful clothes. Eventually on the road, he meets his rival, the prime minister's son, who spent all his money, and he asks for help. Our dude says, well, I'll help you, but you have to brand the back of your hand with my bronze ring. And so the guy's like, okay. So he lets the dude brand him, but then he helps him by giving him a crappy, rotting ship with a maimed and sickly crew. But I guess it's enough to get him back, because he gets back and he gets offered the daughter's hand in marriage. But that's all part of our dude's plan, because on the wedding day, he shows up with all of his wealth, and the king says, hey, you can give my daughter away at her wedding. So he comes in to give her away, and then he's like, I don't think this dude's worthy of her because he's my slave. The prime minister's son's like, I'm not his slave. And he's like, oh yeah, show him how my ring's brand is on your hand. And he's like, ooh. So the king lets the princess marry the gardener, who is now, of course, rich and amazing, and they have a wedding, and they live happily for a while, but it's only half over. One day, our hero goes away on a journey, leaving his wife alone, and an evil person comes in to do mischief. And in the original version, it's an old Jew, and he's evil and can do magic just for that reason. In modern day retellings, it's just a magician, like in my version of Andrew Lang's Blue Fairy book, that's what it is, but as you can see, not in the original. He knows about the bronze ring, and so he offers these red fishes to the princess for the ring, but she apparently doesn't get its value, and who knows why her man didn't take it with him, but he didn't. So she gives him the ring for the fish, not thinking it's valuable. Once he's got the ring, he wishes that her man, the prince, that his boat would rot and be awful, kind of like our hero did to the minister's son, and that instead of princely men, his crew would be crewed by slaves. And in the original version, he uses a word for black people that I'm not going to say. Our prince, when he sees these changes, immediately knows that someone has the bronze ring and is messing with him. So he gets the ship to this island inhabited entirely by mice. He sails up to the edge of the island. He's like, mice, I need your help. And the mice are like, you're not coming aboard this island. You've got cats on your vessel. So the prince is like, oh, you're scared of my cats, huh? Well, I'm going to sick them on you unless you help me. And so, of course, they agree to help him. The mouse queen sends out, a message to all the mice in the world, and they send back the message that the evil dude is sleeping with the bronze ring in his mouth. So the mice get it from him by one of them tickling his nose while he's asleep, so he sneezes and the other one grabs the ring. They bring it back to our dude. He restores his vessel and his crew and sails home to the princess. He embraces his woman, wakes up the evil dude, binds him in chains, and the next day he is broken into pieces by being tied to the tail of a savage mule. The end. As always, check out my book, Dust Spells, a reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.